Hey guys, Bingster cometh forth to talk to you about something that piqued my interest recently. Yes, we're talking about fracking and its destructive impact on the environment. In all seriousness, I wanted to talk about inaccessibility in games, and the missed opportunities that probably should have never been presented in the first place. I'll be using two examples, a comparison of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core with Final Fantasy XII, and Zelda Skyward Sword, all played on the Switch. Just by the mention of these games, if you've played them, then you can probably guess where this is going. And it's going there right now. We'll start with Crisis Core. Originally released for the PSP, this is an action RPG that tells the story of Zack in Midgar, before Cloud Story in the original FF7, and FF7 Remake. I played its remaster, known as Crisis Core Reunion. So each area in the game is structured like a mini sandbox. You can run around, talk to people, encounter enemies, find chests, do minigames, essentially, play the game. When you want to go to a different stomping grounds, accessible areas are marked with this blue line. You cross it and bam, you're there. Inaccessible areas are marked with a red line, and therein lies the rub. Now the general assumption I have when I see an inaccessible area presented like this is that I can't go there now, but maybe later on it'll open up, or at a specific point in the game I'll be able to access it. To compare, this generally is the case in FF12, which employs the same visual cue. Redline areas may not be accessible at first, but do open up later, or at least for a limited time depending on their need in the story. However, in Crisis Core, these red lines never turn blue. If you're wondering, what's down this alley in Midgar? Keep wondering, buddy. That knowledge is secret scripture and you'll never ever know. So the gut reaction hits like, oh man, I can't go there, but I really wanted to go there. And it makes the game feel like Animal Farm. There's literally space, it's right there, you can see it with your eyeballs. But the capitalist fat cat developers dictate that you're only allowed in your assigned quadrant. To clarify, I'm not saying all blocked off areas are bad. If there's a giant pile of rubble or a building boarded up that you just can't go in, I can accept that. It's totally reasonable. I can't accept that there's potential presented to go somewhere that just never materializes. And I get it, Crisis Core is an older game, from 2007, and its mechanics have since been improved upon, so this is most likely my case of recency bias, especially since I played FF12 before Crisis Core Reunion. But if you allow my, reverse trap kid, since Crisis Core Reunion came out after Final Fantasy XII, shouldn't this traversal mechanic and or design be something developers would consider altering? Maybe it was just too much trouble, and went against the portrayal of the original game. That's one crisis not solved, I'd say at least partially observed. Let's take a look at the other example in Skyward Sword. The game sees Link start in the wondrous setting of Skyloft, a small city above the clouds, where he strives to become a fully fledged Loftwing pilot. The tutorial section of this game is essentially his license test, teaching you how to fly your avian beasts and all the techniques you can use. And the map shows you places to look forward to exploring in the future. It's really awesome. When this falls apart, however, is the minute the sun goes down. You try to jump off an island to ride your trusted bird buddy, and this happens. Now you immediately think, wicked, I'm gonna get a night pilot's license at some point. Flying at night's gonna be so cool. Apologies in advance for disappointing you, but that never happens. Hey, don't blame me. If there's anything you should be disappointed in, it's the theme of this video. This ends up being such a wasted opportunity. I had really cool ideas of night flying and its applications, like a stealth mission to avoid being detected by some sort of crazy monsters, or a sweet night-based raid, and they never came to fruition. A design choice the developers could have done instead, that they have done before, is if you fall too high, you simply reset, lose a heart, and pick yourself up from the place you jumped. Maybe a message pops up like, Loftwings have poor night vision and can only fly during the day. The fact that there are night pilots in the game, and that Link himself is a pilot, leads me to question that since Link's journey started with him wanting to be a pilot, assuming a very good one, why wouldn't he strive to and achieve in getting the night pilot's license? What reason is there for him not to get it? It would certainly speed up his quest in finding Zelda if he's able to fly any time during a 24-hour period. To me, this egregious choice actually helps to reveal what good game character design is. The reason you play as the protagonist, or main characters, by and large, is because they are the best at what they do. No one else can take down Demise or Ganon but Link. No one else can stand up to Sephiroth, save for Zack and Cloud. So going back to Skyward Sword, if Link, through our efforts as players, clearly has the ability to fly at night, to become the best pilot, why isn't he allowed to? The obvious answers are Nintendo either didn't have the time to fully implement it, or maybe they tried it and it didn't work like they wanted. These answers are totally fine considering the end product, but the fact that the possibility, nay, the tease of night flying is still in the game is not. It sounds like I'm giving Skyward Sword a very hard time. The game as a whole is fantastic. In fact, our friend and cohort, the Sarge, did a video on why it's such a great game. In my opinion, it's the most underrated 3D Zelda. It really is a gem. I do recommend you check out his video after this to cleanse your palate of negativity. I am pointing out the sole issue I had with this game. A carrot was dangled in front of my face at night and I was never able to eat it. That metaphor doesn't really work because I don't like carrots. Again, disappointment. A small point to finish off. One could say I have a problem with remasters not improving upon original games, but then I'd say that's the job of remakes, not necessarily remasters, and differentiating between them in the modern age that we all live in can often be confusing when you consider certain game titles. But games similar to the aforementioned pair that did zoning and accessibility exceedingly well were Metroid Prime Remaster and Resident Evil 4 Remake, with separate ways included. While RE4 Remake is a great base game, Capcom did a masterful job adding in content to cover its gaps and address criticisms. Metroid Prime, on the other hand, was already well designed from the get-go. That's the end. If you're not too disappointed, or very disappointed, let us know what you think. Are there any other games with missed opportunities, or things that were teed up that never happened? As always, we here at Powerstar Japan appreciate your likes, comments and subs. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you later.